What is going on, guys? How you guys all doing? Laser here, back at it again with another weekend video analysis. Finally, I'm back home. If you missed my last week's video, that's because there was no last week's video. I was actually away on a family trip to Mexico in Quintana Roo. I might have gotten that. I might have mispronounced that. I apologize, but beautiful country, warm weather. My son and I, we've coined the term. We called it Sunnyland. It's always sunny. I've now come back home to Canada, and let me tell you, I'm looking outside. There's snow outside my window right now. It's -7 Celsius. It's 10 degrees Fahrenheit for my fellow Americans who don't know what that is in Celsius. It's cold, and I miss it. I miss being out there, but it's also, there's no place like home. So I'm so glad to be home. And I'm here to actually drop my analysis on NIO. I'm going to actually try and paint out a map as to where I actually see the price action going into NIO, going into next week. Once again, I do read all my comments. I do read everybody who's responding to me. I have a very open book policy. If you want to disagree with me, by all means, go ahead. I'm not going to ban you. If you're going to say something, say it to my face. But I will tell you, it does not go... It goes unappreciative. I'll tell you that much. But if you have to say something, say it. It's the internet. Everybody's allowed to say what they want to say, especially if you disagree. But of course, if you agree with me or you like what you see, let me know. I'll read that. It definitely gives me, the energy and support to kind of keep going. I kind of put these videos out for you guys. And here I am. First day back from holidays. I'm here to put out this video here. I'm recovered as well. I was sick last week. I was coughing nonstop. Everybody was coughing in my family, actually, and I feel like I'm finally feeling better. So let's go ahead. Let's dive right in. Let's talk about where we see NIO going into next week. If you're going to want to get a really good scope of where our things are going towards the end of the video, make sure you stay tuned. We're going to look at the Seng. We're going to look at the Dixie. We're going to look at we'll look at Baba as well. And we'll try and give you a better like overall broader market to kind of fit in the missing puzzle pieces. Sometimes when you just look just at NIO, you miss the bigger picture. There's some missing puzzle pieces that you can actually get some answers when you look at everything all around. Having said that, let's recap here. I actually made a couple tweets throughout the week saying like things are looking kind of like bottomy. I actually talked about like the velocity breaking on the 4-hour time frame, which it did. It did that like right around here. Why does that look a little bit off? Because it is something like that. There you go. And you can see it broke and changed momentum. Momentum shifted. You cannot argue. I don't care what the broad market or everything. Like NIO is its own equity, and it will diverge away from the rest of the market if it says it's going to. And right now, it tells me that the momentum has officially shifted. And it supports the velocity coming right up here and breaking through this long trend line, which is also this is where the shorts will be sweating. Shorts are not sweating right now at all. Right here. In fact, you might actually have some shorts who are covering right here because they've noticed some momentum shifting, and they might try and re-add. For those that are swing trading on the short side, it would make maybe sense to kind of cover your shorts here and add new shorts right over here. I had another tweet. You guys saw this, where it was like this. The red path. I don't know if I did that right on the bottom. Let's see if I did that right. Close enough. And then I had a path where it's like, where it was like green. And let me tell you, I've got some people telling me saying that like, and I don't get offended by this, but it irks me when people like don't understand it. And so I'm going to take the time to try and understand. I think it's just a lack of like a misunderstanding. And I want people to understand. I'm going to stop, by the way, and I think I'm going to stop keeping track of my track record of like, I don't know. I feel like I've proven to you guys that I'm providing quality analysis. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. You can leave whenever you want. But I'm not here to I think it like people are thinking I'm loading the bases and calling out multiple different scenarios, so I'm not wrong. You're missing the bigger picture. That's not what I'm doing in the least bit. And I'm here to explain that to those that think that, because I think there is a lot of people who think that I'm just trying to, oh, it might go up, it might go down. You're misunderstanding that at all completely. That's not what I'm saying at all. You know, you can see I drew out two paths here, not so I can be right. I don't care if I'm right. I'm drawing out two paths because nobody in their right minds can actually tell you what's going to happen here. Nobody can. It could do both. You got to realize that it can actually do both. And for the sake of like all the people that are the haters, I'm not even going to keep track, because I know those of you that do watch me know I put out quality content. And to be quite frank, I don't even know where I'm ending off. I think I was like 8 of 11. I might have been 8 for 12. I don't know what it was, or 9 for 12. I'm going to stop keeping track, but the reason I'm drawing two paths here is there's going to be a battlegrounds. And if you understand, if you were somebody shorting right here, and maybe you decided to cover and you wanted to swing long here, or maybe you're just holding it because you think it's going straight to zero, whatever the case may be, you do not have to close your shorts until this long trend line breaks. In fact, it could be just another option to go short. But if it breaks, if the price does the green price action, there's going to be a squeeze, a short squeeze. The shorts that were here are going to get squeezed out. Not the type of short squeeze like a GameStop AMC squeeze, but it's the types that, like, the shorts that were here, they're going to be covering, and you're going to get like an extra leg to launch this further, because it's no longer holding the thesis to kind of remain short. You have to go long at that point, and not just shorts, institutions and new retail. That's when people are going to start talking about it. But if it doesn't, and it gives you this and it rejects, shorts are going to take a stab here. The shorts will take a stab right at this trend line. That's the best time to short. And I've explained this in my previous videos, but I'm going to explain this again. Actually, the reason why it's the best time to short is, and I'll just paint out the scenario here, is say you're short and you go short right here at 650. Okay. I'm now going short at 650, and I was right. Boom. I'm banking all the way back down to 4. Maybe it rides. Instead of it, you enter here right at the trend line, and then it dances along the trend line. And then it breaks down. Well, if I entered at 650 and it dances along the trend line, I'm going green as it dances along that trend line. And if it actually does what I think it would do if I was a short, and it rejects, I make big time money. And the reason why this, again, I'm going to point this, it's important to understand this. The reason why this becomes a really good spot to short is if you short here and get it wrong and it breaks up, there will be a second chance on that retest where your position goes green or relatively flat, and you can close out and be like, I took a stab, it didn't work, I'm ready to close out, because it's broken now, my short thesis. And likely what the thought process is for a lot of the shorts that are in this play will be closing their position. And they're also going to be battling against new longs that are going to want to get long into this position. Now, both of these paths go up. The momentum is showing that we're going to be riding up into that direction. The reason I've had this red path drawn out, and this has been my thesis all along, is this sell-off was quite drastic, from all the way down from almost, let's just call it 8, down to basically 4. Like, it was a pretty significant pullback, 43%. And oftentimes, you know, you're not, that's why and you can see the 200-day moving average making a lower low. And oftentimes when it's made lower lows on that 200-day moving average, you've often had like these rallies similar to these, where it made like a short rally and made lower lows after the fact. And that is the only reason why I'm entertaining the idea of red. It's important to understand the risks when it comes to investing. I've had some people get kind of chased right over here. I know some people chased right around that 530 mark in hopes of riding this rally. It always came with the risk of riding down low. Now, I did make a tweet and I said it could be low enough. I do think like it's pretty darn low. And if you wanted to short it, it's not quite at that bottom of that trend line. But the reason I say good enough is if it does the green path, you're not going to see these lows for a long time. You're not going to see you might not ever see 430 for a long time. It might just squeeze. It could potentially be the bottom. But I'm leaning towards red path here. I'm leaning towards and I do think there's an option for that green path because it's been really badly beat here. And that's kind of where I'm leaning to right now. You also have this mini trend line here. It's coming up. When I say mini, it's like a little bit of like a steeper, sloper trend line. You'll notice there'll be a little bit of resistance coming up to that as well. And if it breaks above that, that's also going to be a signal for shorts to kind of, step out the way. But I think that signal already came this week. And I do believe we're going to get that rally here. Why is this red? This needs to be green. But, and I'm just going to clear this out. And now, as far as price targets go, I was being conservative. I would kind of draw the trend line like that, but like that trend line, you've got that trend line breaking, and then you could draw a Fibonacci right here where it hasn't tested like that 850 zone, like that 850, 840 zone, and that like 50% zone, which I think is coming. Because you've gotten this break, and I said this earlier on when it broke. Very, very early. I'm going to remind you guys. This took 1 year, by the way, to break. 393 days. How long has it been, by the way? Oh, what did I do? I did something I didn't want to do. Boom, boom. There we go. And it's only been 80 days. It's only been 80 days against a 1 year downtrend. So this thing's going to take time before it has time to kind of ride up into 840, 990. And the reason it also takes time is that's how the market works. The only way they're going to suck up money out of your guys' pockets is scaring you into selling at these lows. You got to exercise patience. Patience is like the number one hardest underrated skill in trading. I cannot tell you that enough. You got to be patient. Those who are most patient are the ones who will be rewarded 100%. Having some conviction, believing in that there's going to be a time for it to ride higher. It's getting to a point where we're going to, so I'm drawing this out here to talk about some bigger price targets. I do see 850 and I see like that $10 price range coming in the near future. The question is are we going to see a little bit more downside? I mean, like at this point, who gives a damn? If I'm a long investor, I don't care. I want to wait till it gets to my higher price targets. I don't give a damn. And when and if this thing breaks, expect not only all of Twitter, expect all of investors' places, all of the articles, everything talking about a turnaround for NIO. This will be the turnaround story. This is the make or break. It's going to go to all-time highs if it breaks this. I truly believe that NIO is going to all-time highs and higher once it breaks this. And at the very least, you're going to see it like spike to like $27 and $35. Do you know how scary that is? It's scary close to where this thing's going to be riding. 850, 10, and even the golden pocket, like around 12. So if you get that, man, there could be a gigantic squeeze on NIO. So the potential's there, but you can't get lost in the week to like the day-to-day and week-to-week price action. You got to think more longer term. And sometimes like you'll see the price like do certain things like on earnings. I think like it was trying to fake out a lot of different people, like a double miss on the revenue and EPS. And look, it's still rallying. Don't get lost in that noise. The true blueprint is in the momentum. Who basically makes this chart? Who can control this? These are the whales that actually dump in the most volume into the stock, and you can see the speed in which they're buying, and you can see when that breaks, right? And it's broken, it's shifted, and we can see that this thing is going to be riding up. So that's what you got to understand here. So there's going to be a battle into that like 650 zone. And the only time we're truly clear is when you get a break above that long trend line, okay? There will be a squeeze if it gets above that. So there's a lot on the line, and the bottom might be in. If it's not in, then I suspect the next best time is going to be here. That's where it's heading. If it's not in, is right around there. So if you were here and you bought like right around like 530 and you're like, crap, I'm in the hole, it's going to go straight. No, like I think you're going to get that rally. I think those that like bought in this zone here, like, look, this thing did massive accumulation here. And what did they do? They took it down one level. Every single one of these people that tried to buy around 5 is in the hole. It's probably scared shitless if you don't have patience. And they're going to let it ride, and then they're going to rip it up. So much better, because there's going to be so many people, their stop losses triggered. They're going to sell it out, and that makes sense. They're going to bring it down and up. They always do that. That's how it always works. Even here, you saw it right here. Oh, it's going to bottom. Boom. Rug pull all these people, scare them, and then rip it. And that could be a similar case here. So what I'm watching going into next week is continuation into this long trend line towards 6. I'm watching that. I believe that's what's going to be the case. There are some risks. So I'm going to look at some other stocks like our BABA. Now, this is really funny. Remember back when we were trading at 96, 97, I said BABA was going to come all the way down here, and what did it do? It came right down here. Now, it did break below, which is a risk, but a break below doesn't mean anything. And oftentimes if it breaks below, you can get it bottom out. It can do that, and then it's going to squeeze. Because maybe you get some shorts who are trying to preemptively short this. It breaks back above. You got like shorts now covering, longs entering right at the bottom. It's going to massively squeeze actually here, is what BABA could do here. It is... this is looking messy, so we're going to redraw this trend line here. If I were being like completely fair, I would still give it a chance here. It's broken below. It did over here too, slightly there too. Going to want to watch for that retest here, because that's when shorts are going to hammer it and longs are going to maybe sell. But it's going to take time. But if I were predicting where it's going to do, I think you would get something like that. This is where to get long, not to get scared. Like it's 120. It's down 30% with no significant relief pressure. Something's got to give here. Like the velocity chart doesn't even make sense. It's just like it's just riding down. It's like just being drawn down here. 2 hours. Look at this. I talked about this. Lower low. It's making that potential higher high here. Higher low, so pardon me, higher low here. There's going to be a rally, in my opinion, on BABA. Now, Seng. Did I keep the drawing up? Where is the drawing? Where's that trend line? It might be on this chart. Yeah, it's on this chart. So I was anticipating longs to kind of come forth here. And it has broken below, which is, it's not the best look for longs. But you got to realize here, it's not like perfect. And you can see here where it should have gone longs. give you a retest, came lower, formed a base, and then launched. And you could get something similar here. A little bit lower, and you can easily do something like that. Like, this thing is due for a rally. I can't even tell you that. Like, this thing is so due for a rally. It's so oversold. Something like that. From a velocity standpoint of view, the Hang Seng on the 4 hours, still it's bearish. It's forming actually a bullish divergence here. It's actually forming its very first bullish divergence. You can see here it made a lower low on price, and it's kind of giving you that doji candle. And we still haven't gotten a lower low on that velocity. So if it starts reversing next week, you could get your bottom right there. On the 2 hours, look at that. That's beautiful. It's breaking the 200-day moving average. It's more obvious on that 2 hour time frame. Look at this. It's getting ready to go, in my opinion, reverse. Like, that's a significant drawback and pullback. But again, bigger picture, it's making higher lows. It just made this monster move. Okay? Absolute disgusting monster move, and it's giving you that pullback. And it's sitting where? Where did I say it would probably go to? Oh, look at that. Golden pocket? Didn't I call that like way long ago? Look back at my old video. Did I talk about that golden pocket? It's literally sitting just above the golden pocket. Where does smart money like to get back into there? Look at that. And they need people to sell, so that, of course, it breaks that line. It breaks this to scare retail. They're always trying to steal your money, right? Now, we go into the Dixie. Dixie's on this giant run here. Honestly, I don't know what to actually think about completely on Dixie, because it's a long setup now for Dixie. But it hasn't given a official pullback. And when I look at it from the lows here, this is like basically higher. We got lower highs here. Lower highs, right? And we got, ooh, what's going on here? Why did it do that? My mouse got sticky. Never done that before. Lower highs. It made a lower low here. Now it made a higher high, which could be a head fake. And I can see here from basically from down here to up here, it hasn't given you that pullback, like a proper pullback. And I think that's what's kind of keeping the market bullish. And when you get market cuts, which is going to be like a catalyst, and you can actually see it's forming a bullish divergence, or sorry, a bearish divergence. It made that higher high here. And I think it's going to come down, and it's going to give you a really, really, really big, sizable pullback. And of course, if we were just drawing this out, golden pocket brings it down to 102. That's a giant pullback on that US dollar here. And at the very least, I see it coming down into there. I think that where you want to be scared for, or are a little bit watching out for it, guys, is if this comes back down and it supports this long trend line, anyone that's short the US dollar or looking to go long the US dollar, it's going to spook the market. If it doesn't, you need it to break below that. That's what you need it to do. Right now, it's not looking super hot, but I'm not here to like create FUD. I do think there's going to be a pullback. It's literally a nonstop up move from 100 to 108. It's time for it to retest and come back down, and I think it's showing some signs here of it slowing down. Yeah, this is a bearish divergence here. When I look at the 12 hours here, bearish divergence, 4 hours. Yeah, I think it's going to come back, and it's going to give you that nice pullback, and it's going to potentially give everything a nice lift, including the Hang Seng, right? So we talked about NIO, the Hang Seng, and the Dixie. Let's just go right back to NIO and wrap up our video here, guys. If you've watched all this entire time, I appreciate that. Analysis is pointless if you don't understand the analysis behind that. It's also why I spend so much time explaining how it works, so you guys could understand it and be a little bit confident behind that. If you don't understand how analysis works, and it's completely worthless to you. So it's important. That's why I take the time I do to really explain my own thought process. And once again, guys, thank you guys for always supporting and watching my videos. Friendly reminder, don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button on my YouTube video if you want to get updates. I do plan to make new videos on some other tickers and stocks. I was looking at some of the memes, which have still been getting exciting. I've had some people ask me, like, in a private DM, are memes going to run? I think memes can definitely run as well. But that's for a different video if I ever do make it. But we don't have time for this video. So again, thanks so much for watching, guys. And again, wrapping up, I think NIO's going up. It's coming to test the long trend line here. And we're going to be looking for upside. I mean, I've been saying that for a long time, but it's so hard to nail down the timing, guys. And I hope you guys can understand that. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and cheers. Until next time.